So we're here at Thorne Bros, and we're excited to announce the newest addition to the store right behind us. We're sitting here with Mr. Nolan Sprengeler, who last November caught this beauty right here, and of course set the new state record from Minnesota. 57 3/4 inches, 55 pounds, 14.8 ounces. Nolan, it's been a crazy run. You've been on some giant fish. Obviously, this girl was special.
Yeah.
Tell us about the whole experience and finding out it was a record and how that felt.
All right, yeah. So I got a text message from my friend Kevin. He wanted to go out at Black Friday for our last chance of catching her. And I was checking the weather at work, and it looked like it was probably going to ice up, probably the 22nd, 23rd that night. So I took off work early, went to the public ramp, met Kevin and our buddy Zach, and tried to back the boat in, but it was frozen. So we decided our next best chance was to try some more accesses and resorts, and they're also all frozen. So I was ready to go home, and buddy Kevin was like, "Come on, we gotta go." So we went back to our first access, chopped the hole nice, backed the boat in, fired up the motor, broke the ice, got the boat turned around, and off we went. Didn't get out there till it was dark. Started fishing, and it was 17 degrees that night. So of course all the rods were freezing up. We had the silicone spray going as much as we could, and I was personally down to my last rod. It was about 11 o'clock. Felt that thump and set the hook, and I knew it was a nice one, but I didn't know it was that big, and ended up netting it. And the only issue was she was hooked super deep, so started getting all the release tools out. There was handler and cold water. Eventually got the hooks cut up gills and got the bump board all ready, and we laid her out at 57 3/4, and she was 29 around, and put her back in the net, try to get her stabilized, and type all those numbers, and realized the calculator said she was 60 pounds. So that was in our mind, but then we knew the catch and release record, we had that beat by half inch, which is what I wanted. But hooked in the gills like that, she wasn't doing too well, unfortunately. Tried for, like I said, like an hour. It was so cold, it was rough out there. Eventually it just wasn't going to happen, so we're like, well, it's for sure the state record, so gotta bring it in. So we brought it in, got it in the live well, sort of, got some water on her, drove her back into the boat access. But at that point, the boat access refroze, so I was hitting through the ice with the bow. Eventually, Kevin and Zach jumped off, backed the trailer in the water, which leads some issues with the floating icebergs on the trailer. And all I had was my net, so I get close, and I kind of scooped the icebergs out of the way. And eventually, after some planing, the boat was on the trailer, and away we went. And I called my good buddy Austin to say we had it, so I put him on a hunt to find a scale. And he ended up calling a meat market somewhere in Malacca. And all he asked was, do they have a certified scale, because it was deer season. And the lady's like, yep, we do. But we didn't ask the crucial number if it was 100 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever. So we get there at 1 in the morning, and it's like a 30-pound belly scale. And after quite some banter, we drove home and parked the boat in the garage, called into work the next day, because that wasn't going to be an option. And started calling around to all the tackle shops. All the tackle shops were the same deal, 30 pounds or 50 pounds. Grocery stores, they didn't want to deal with it. So then my next idea was like a meat locker, which had 100-pound scales, but they didn't do ounces. So then Austin again calls me, and he says the UPS store in Golden Valley. And because of the little stunt the previous night, I didn't really trust him. So he's like, no, it's legit. So I go over there, and I walk in with a Tupperware container lid to weigh it on. So I walk in, meet the fine gentleman, and get that all teared out. And as I'm waiting, my buddy Kyle Dorr and then Austin himself showed up to help me get the fish out of the live well, because it was still in the live well, packed on ice, and we walked her in. She was 55 pounds, 14.8 ounces. So beat that record by, I think, the pound or pound and a half, probably. I think the previous was at 54.
54 pounds even.
Yeah. So then definitely had to bring it to shop at the DNR to confirm that it was in fact muskie. So that's all confirmed. Paperwork is done, and Dan Altman, another Minnesota muskie guide, was telling me that Rick Lax would mount the fish and do a replica. So I called up Rick and packed my bags, and I was on my way to Conover, Wisconsin. Got there that night, and we started the process of the mount and getting the form for a replica. And he was gracious enough to let me spend the night. So huge shout out to Rick for that.
Sounds like a long
Yes,
day.
that was a long day. And then spent the night there, came home, and then it was just a whirlwind of phone calls, news, congrats, and yeah. And then I ended up receiving this mount, and it was on show at the Minnesota Muskie Expo.
Well, we couldn't be more honored to have him. You know, like you mentioned, unfortunately, you hook muskies, mortality is a part of the game, and
Yeah.
we hate that part of it. We all try to do our best to be prepared, hook cutters, nets, all of this stuff. Unfortunately, it happens, and we thought it best. You were gracious enough. We worked something out so that we can honor this fish by having it here on display at Thorne Brothers. We couldn't be more honored. Great story. Thank you very much for everything, and we look forward to working together in the future.
Yes, I can't wait to see it whenever I'm shopping here.
Come on in and see her. She'll be on display here at Thorne Brothers.